Yes, ladies and gents. It's been a long time coming. I can't tell you the last time I recorded something on From Bromley with Love. You know how it goes, work, life, etc., etc. But first things first, obviously, I'm Machel St. Patrick Hewitt, host of From Bromley with Love. But like I say, first things first, in the description below, you'll see all the links to all the various different things you can read, watch, etc., etc. Do please head to the Substack page, because on the Substack page, there I've released, I say I've written them, but we've released 3 articles on the Substacks. Sorry, start again. We've released 3 articles on the Substack page over the last week from 3 different authors. One from Adam, one from Alex, and one from Cole. All about various different topics. One about the FA Cup, one about the best goalkeepers to play for Bromley, one about living in exile in Sydney but still loving Bromley. So do look at the link below. Go and read those articles. So the content has been coming. I just haven't done any YouTube content. Anyways, it's nearly been, or it's just shy of 4 weeks since I last did the top 5 Bromley player power rankings. You may or may not remember, and if you haven't watched it, I'll put the link below to the last time I did this 4 weeks ago. And at the time, the top 5, I said the top 5 most important players or best players in the club, in and or around what, the 13th to the kind of 18th of September, so a month ago. I had Grant Smith number 1, I'm reading off my book here. Grant Smith number 1, Sam Woods number 2, Corey Whiteley number 3, Michael Cheek number 4, and Byron Webster number 5. Posted it on all the different socials, etc. And thank you to everybody who got back in the comments, whether on Facebook, on different other forum groups, or Twitter, X, or whatever it's called, or in the comments below on YouTube, etc. And it was I think it was good content. You know, it got quite a lot of engagement from people in terms of their opinion of the top 5 players for Bromley in the power player rankings up to the 18th of September. We have an FA Cup game at the time of recording. We have an FA Cup game tomorrow, 4th qualifying round game against Wealdstone. And I just thought, rather than wait for the Wealdstone game, just so you have some content to get you ready for that Wealdstone game, I said, who are the top 5 now, though? Who are the top 5 now? And you may all, this is all a bit of fun, but in the time since I last recorded, Bromley have played 6 matches since I last recorded a top 5 player power rankings. And those 6 games have been as follows: a 1-0 win away at Dagenham and Redbridge, a 1-1 draw away at Solihull Moors, a 1-0 win at home to Eastleigh, a 3-1 win at home to Gateshead, a 2-0 defeat away at Chesterfield, and a 2-2 draw away at York City. So in the time I last did the power rankings, there have been 6 games that Bromley have played. In those 6 games, Bromley have kept 2 clean sheets. They've scored 8 goals. They've conceded 6 goals. And they've recorded a total of 11 points from a possible 18. In terms of goal scorers in that time, Corey Whiteley 1 goal, Ben Crowhouse 1, Josh Pasley 1, Chinakoli 1, Byron Webster 1, and Michael Cheek 3. So those are the kind of general stats. Of the games, I didn't. Now I'll be completely transparent. I didn't get to all of the games. I was at the Dagenham away match, didn't get to Solihull. I was at both the home games for Eastleigh and Gateshead. Watched the Chesterfield one on the stream on a Tuesday night and was not able to make York City away. But I will be at all of the next 4 games, which are Wealdstone at home in the FA Cup, Oxford City at home, Dorking Wanderers at home, and then Woking away. So we'll be at the next 4 games coming up as it stands right now. But anyways, let's get into it. The top 5 player power or power rankings, Bromley Football Club, as of the 13th of October. Do you agree? Let's move straight into it. Here we go. So let me take myself off the screen here. There we go. Let me put myself in the corner. Number 1. In at number 1. I should have done it the other way around. Am I not? Am I not supposed to go from 5 to 1? It is what it is. Listen, number 1 is Michael Cheek. Cheeky's having a great season thus far. 1 in every 2 games, 14 games, 7 goals. You may remember that last season, Cheeky had a terrible, by his standards, first half and a bit of the season. At the turn of the year, he had 5 goals in 22 games, I think, before scoring 12 in his last 20. At this stage of the season, Cheeky looks like he's on for a 20 plus goal season. 7 in 14, but in our last 6 matches, he scored 3 of the 8 goals that we scored. He scored a brace at home against Gateshead. Remember, at the time he played Gateshead were 5th. Bromley were 4th. Sorry. Gateshead were who was 4th? Gateshead might have been. I can't remember. Anyways, one of us was 4th. One of us was 5th. And Cheeky scored a brace, which got us the win over Gateshead. And then in our last match, Cheeky scored the kind of get back goal against York when we were 1-0 down. He scored the equaliser. Obviously, Pasty scored the late equaliser in that 2-2 draw. But it's more than just about the fact that Cheeky has scored 3 from 8. I would actually argue that over that 6, in fact, it's not even been 6 games because Cheek didn't play the Solihull away game. And by all accounts, from those who went to that game and reported back to me, they argued that his presence was sorely missed because he is our focal point. Andy Woodman alluded to it in one of the interviews he gave me most recently. I think it was after the Gateshead game. Cheeky just does his job really well. He leads the line. As Woody said, he's constantly drawing fouls. Defenders are constantly going through him. But Cheeky has played both the target man role and the goal scorer role perfectly for me over the last 3. So he's got 3 goals in 5 games actually, because he's not played all 6 games since I last did the power rankings. So for me, Cheeky's been the most important player in the last 6 games. I think he's led the line brilliantly. He's shown us why he has that record as the most prolific scorer in National League history. And I think 1 month ago I had him at number 4 in the player power rankings. I think he's now the most, as things stand right now over the last 6 games, I would argue that Cheek is whether you want to call it most important or whether you want to call it the best player at the club, he's in at number 1. I should have done this 5-1, people. That's how you know it's late. That's how you know I'm tired and it's a Friday. In at number 2, as if I'm doing the suspense for 5th place rather than 1st place. So number 1 is Michael Cheek. In at number 2, Byron Webster. Last time out, I had him at number 5. This time, I think he's up to number 2. Even Byron's strongest, harshest cynics, I think, have come round to the fact that Byron has been having an exceptional season. You might even argue this has been, I'd love to know what Byron thinks, but you might even argue that this is Byron's best season at Bromley out of the, 3 that he's had with us thus far. Yes, I know it's only been 2 clean sheets in the last 6 games, but when you see who I've got in all the other positions, you may understand why I've put Byron so high. I think it's more than just Byron's individual qualities and abilities. I just think he has led the team brilliantly. And I know in England we have a fascination about the role of the captain and who is the captain. But in the context of a captain being important, I do think Byron embodies the run that we've been on. I do think he embodies why we've been so difficult to beat. And I think he has marshaled the troops. Again, Woody alludes to it, but it's evident, it is clear that Byron is the quote unquote gaffer on the pitch. He leads by example. He marshals the team well, and I think this stretch, this last 6 games, and even you could argue over the piece, he has been consistency personified for me. And I've got him in at number 2. In at number 3, first appearance on the power list, the top 5 power. Keep calling it something different. The top 5 power rankings for his debut in the From Bromley with Love player power rankings. Chinakoli. I got Chinakoli in at number 3. Scored the winner against Eastleigh in the 2nd game of the 6-match stretch that this is based over. But this isn't about the fact that Chin scored a winner or Chin scored a goal. I think Chin has got better with every passing game. I remember, if you go back and read on the Substack page, I think after, in fact, the first game of the season, I think, when I wrote The Good, the Bad and the Ugly after Halifax away, I said that Chin had suffered from a rude awakening. He made 2 errors. Was it 2 errors? Certainly 1 error. I can't remember if it was 2 now, but he had a rude awakening. at Halifax away as to what it means to step up from being a superbly talented and highly rated under 21 player at Millwall to suddenly playing in men's National League football, which is effectively League Two football, right? But I think Chin has improved markedly, game by game by game, and I think he's been consistent alongside Byron Webster. So Webster's in the middle, Chin's on the right, Reynolds on the left. I think alongside Webster, I think Chin has grown, his stature has grown, his ability to read the game has grown. Rather than, I think, if I was being critical, you could have said in the early stages of Chin's time at Bromley, he was trying to dominate. I hope you kind of get what I mean by that. Like, he was trying to be in the game. He was striving to win his headers and win his tackles. And some might say, Mash, that's what he's supposed to do as a defender. But check this out. There's a bit of nuance I want to bring in here. Now, Chin is winning his headers and his tackles at the right time. And what I mean by that is I think he's grown in his ability to read the game. When's the right time to press? When's the right time to cede possession to the attacker who's running at me? When do I move to fill in for Josh Pasley, who's gone on a rampaging run down the right wing, or Jude Arthurs, or whoever it might be? So for me, Kid has grown massively. He's making massive strides. I think he's learned massively from playing alongside Byron Webster. So if I've got Webster at 2, I think Chin comes in at number 3. So well done to the 20-year-old. He might be 21. Is it 20 or 21? Well done to Chin. He's in at number 3. In at number 4, also debut on the power rankings, the Bromley FC power rankings. Didn't feature in my last list. I've got Josh Pasley. Got Pasley in at 4. So Josh has only played in 4 of the last 6 games. So it's controversial. And I want to say now, obviously, when people get at me in the comments below, I think Callum Reynolds, I've ummed and ahed about this. So Callum Reynolds is not in my top 5. I think he should be, but I just feel like I had to. The last 2 positions, I felt I had to give some praise to these 2 players because I think they go under the radar quite significantly. Even when they play well, I don't think they're noticed as much as other players when other players play well. So I just want to shout out Callum Reynolds. I want to tell Callum Reynolds, I see you. I see how consistent you've been over the last 6 games, and you probably should be in my top 5 player power rankings, but I don't have you there. So I got Josh Pasley at number 4. Josh, has only played in 4 of the 6 games: Dagenham away, Gateshead at home, Chesterfield away, and York away. He scored the late equaliser at York. Again, Josh has had a bit of an interrupted season, suspended and injured at the start, came in, red card at Rochdale, suspended again, came in, picked up an injury, came back. So it's been a stop and start season for Josh. But I just think, despite him only playing 4 of the last 6 games in this stretch that I'm ascertaining who gets in the top 5, I think the fans have seen that Josh is integral to our. It's a joke. It's a joke because people often say, "What is Bromley's style of play?" Whatever you deem Bromley's style of play to be, Josh is integral to it, and I think Josh is up and down when he's playing, up and down that right wing over and over and over again. His engine is incredible, but more importantly, he gets the ball into the box quickly. No dilly-dallying, no down the wing, check back, down the wing, check back. It's balls at my feet, balls going into the box. How about cheeky? Do you want that one? So I think this is me kind of putting Josh in at 4 to recognize the fact that, yeah, he's only played 4 of the last 6, but actually his style of play is integral to Bromley's style of play this season. I know some of you will find that controversial because you might say, Mash, he's only played 4 out of the last 6. How can he be in your top 5? He's in my top 5. Deal with it. And in 5th place, like I say, crazy that I went 1 to 5 rather than 5 to 1. But 5th in my top 5 Bromley FC player power rankings, Bez Topoloj. So Bez, obviously, I mean, he may play tomorrow. Remember, this is recorded on Friday night at the time of recording. Bez may well play tomorrow. I think concussion protocol. So he got the concussion at Gateshead in the Gateshead game at home. which means he's missed Chesterfield, he's missed York. The concussion protocols, if I'm right, would be 10 days, right? The 10 days would have been up about Wednesday this week, right? I don't know if he's allowed to train in that within the context of the concussion protocol. So I suspect Bez will be back tomorrow. He may not be because it's the FA Cup, and Andy may want to do. He may want to give Ryan. Is it Ryan Jones or is it Ryan Johns? Can't remember. He may want to give Ryan some more game time after having a good debut against York City. But, and again, it's controversial because again, I state Callum Reynolds played all 6 games. So by default, Callum should probably be in instead of one of Pass or Bez. But Bez played in, let me just bring up Bez. Bez played in 4 of the games, technically 3.5 because he went off injured against Gateshead. But let me just bring Bez up. Bez played in the 1-0 away win at Dagenham, the 1-1 draw away at Solihull, the 1-0 win at home to Eastleigh, and about 15 minutes of the 3-1 win to Gateshead. So it's controversial for me to throw Bez in when he's only played 3.5 of the last 6 games. But I think maybe this is me. I think this is me saying that until that head injury against Gateshead, I think Bez had been brilliant. So although Bez didn't feature in my last top 5, I think this is me recognizing the form that Bez was on at the time I did the last top 5 player rankings, and he carried that form in out of that into the new kind of period that I'm judging by. And I think I just wanted to recognize Bez's consistency. Again, like Chin, I thought Bez had a slow start to the season. I thought he was leggy. I thought he was off it away at Halifax. Same again at home to Barnet on TV. But since then, Bez has been brilliant for me. In fact, since that Barnet game, Bez hasn't played in the game that we've lost. Okay, obviously because he's been out for concussion. But I think I've made no bones about it. I believe that Bez should be a Football League player. I think at the end of this season, regardless of what Bromley do, I think Bez will be a Football League player. I think somebody will come in for an offer for Bez because, again, in a different way to Josh, Bez is up and down that left flank again, over and over. I'd argue he's a better defender than Josh. But the key thing is, how many times do we see Bez Topoloj pick up the ball and just drive from left wing back and beat 2 or 3 men on his way and open up the pitch as a result? And it's very much an underrated element of his game because he's so tenacious and so robust in his defending as well. If Bez had played all 6 games in this stretch, he possibly might have been in my top 2. But because he's obviously had the concussion break and injury, and the fact he only played 3.5 games, I've got him in at number 5. So that's my top 5 people. My top 5 play in the Bromley FC player power rankings, the top 5 most important, top 5 best, whatever you want to call it, players over the last month for Bromley Football Club. Michael Cheek, number 1, Byron Webster, number 2, Chinna Coley, number 3, Josh Pasley, number 4, and Besart Topoloj, number 5. I'm well aware that 4 of those players are technically defenders in a stretch where we played 6 games and conceded 6 goals. But that's how I see it. By all means, as usual, get at me in the comments below. Do you agree? Would you have had someone else in there? Would you have had Callum Reynolds in there? Have I missed someone out? Controversially, no place for Grant Smith. In my last top 5, Grant Smith was number 1. I don't even have him in my top 5 this time round. No favorites out here. It just is what it is based on what I see. Get at me in the comments below. Let me remove this. Get at me in the comments below, whether it's on Facebook in the Facebook group or one of the forum group or in the comments below on YouTube or replying on X, whatever it may be. Let me know what you think. Follow From Bromley with Love on Twitter. You can find us at Bromley with Love. And if you want to contribute to keeping this whole channel going and all the things that I do, look at the descriptor below and you can find out how to do that. I'll catch up with you, no doubt, tomorrow after I've interviewed Andy or whoever else after the FA Cup game. And yeah, keep following the content, people.